Hello friends, I'm Chevy. Welcome to my shed. How are you this evening, this Friday evening? It's cold here in West Virginia. My mom said there were snow flurries today. I didn't see any, but yeah. So, you know, this past couple weeks have been really strange times. Apparently everybody who's ever had any seat of power molests people or sexually assaults them or sexually misconducts. What the hell? I mean, I kind of have always known that power is corrupted, or power corrupts, but just to the degree of the weird sexual behaviors that have been coming, man. So a few years ago, I was at a convention, and I was hanging out with a girl, and that's not something that I do very often. Jamie has been really the only woman in my life, and I never went to like places where people could be creepy. And so I was hanging out with this girl, and a guy who is known, but he definitely didn't have a seat of power, but he's just a guy that everybody knows of as that guy, right? Approached this female and said, "Who's the lucky bastard that gets to take those pants off tonight?" And it was just like, what? Did you just say that to her? You know? I looked at her, she looked at me, I was like, "Do you want to leave?" She's like, "Yes," so we left. And it was really awkward and really confusing and really like, so I had to have this really honest discussion with her that night. Like, is this stuff happen a lot? And she said, "Oh yeah, like every day." You know, it just, because as a father of little girls, I think, like, Jamie and I have spent a lot of time teaching our girls to be strong and independent and to not take any shit, right? But I feel like actresses in Hollywood, they have to have been some sort of, strong and independent and not taking shit to get to where they were. But they still felt like they had to let this man run them over because that was what was required. And it's so bullshit. Like, I can't wrap my head around it. And it's confusing. And as a father of two little girls, how do I tell them no? Like, that is never okay, ever, in any situation. Stories not only of celebrities, but there's been stories about, like, police officers arresting and molesting people. And the girls are like, "Well, I was scared they'd throw me in jail." Like, you should never be scared of that. You should never be scared of the consequences of not being sexually abused. Like, being sexually abused is way worse than anything else somebody could do to you, right? Like, I think that if a cop abuses his power and throws you in jail for a night, that's going to sit with you much less than if you let him molest you or whatever it is, or not landing a role on this movie because you weren't willing to put out or to be sexually molested. I don't know, man. And I'm not trying to victim blame here. I know that is honestly what it sounds like I'm trying to say right now. What I'm saying is, these men, these disgusting, filthy people who have done this, who have made it okay to molest because that's the culture of Hollywood. That's just bullshit. And as a dad who, I hope my girls are in successful places someday, not necessarily Hollywood, I don't, but to, My youngest wants to be a soccer player. Like, that's her entire life, is playing soccer. And there's stories of gymnasts who have been molested by their coaches and their trainers and their referee or their medical staff because they were in a position of power. And the girls didn't know any better. Again, not trying to victim blame, but as a father, I have to figure out a way to teach this to my girls before it happens than to try to clean up the mess. And I don't know how to do that. And I'm scared for them. If this is the world we live in, where men just do whatever the hell they want because they feel they're not subject to consequences, I fear for my little girls. It's weighing heavily on me this week. Spent the whole day today with Keely. Today was a day off. I told you that yesterday. And I fully intended to get quite a bit of work done. Got zero work done. Keely and I just lounged around all day, played video games, played some soccer outside, ate junk food, and just had a good time. So I got a lot of catching up to do. And maybe go hang out with some friends. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me just spout confusion. And I'm sorry if I seem to take a weird angle on that. It's just stream of consciousness. You know, I don't script these things. It just happens. Whatever comes out of my mouth is what happens, and I put it on tape and I put it on the internet. So who knows? Maybe this will be the first video I have to delete because I said something really stupid. I don't know. But regardless, I will be back Monday with a normal show, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, all pre-recorded, all content about my new startup. So I'll see you then.
Hey, Doc, wait! I want to ask you something.
This random fact comes from History.com. What is the smallest country in the world? Based on landmass, Vatican City is the smallest country in the world, measuring just 0.2 square miles, almost 120 times smaller than the island of Manhattan. Situated on the western bank of the Tiber River, Vatican City's 2-mile border is landlocked by Italy.